That's right, only boys from Florida and Texas drive to get in the snow. It's only been coming down for about 20 minutes. It's covering everything. Okay, so we haven't been riding a whole lot because it's the middle of August in Georgia, which is usually pretty brutal. We've had temperatures for the last, I don't know, almost a month from 95 degrees above. The actual temperature feels usually like about 105, 107. So we've curtailed a lot of our summer riding until it gets a little bit cooler. So last year we did some riding for the second year in a row up at Royal Blue. We got into some sub-freezing temperatures, ran into some issues, and being a natural born and raised Florida guy, there's a lot of stuff that I don't really know about snow riding. So if you have any other suggestions, just feel free to comment underneath the comments section. Probably the biggest issue that we ran into that could have been a disaster was the fact that all of our winches froze up. We didn't even think about it. We were an hour and a half into the first day of ride. We stopped to take a break, and we just happened to get out and look, and our winches were all frozen solid. Even Thaddeus had a winch on the back of his turbo, and it was frozen solid as well. So basically, we had 4 winches. All of them were inoperable. So a couple things you can do, obviously, is get a winch cover to put on the winch and try to protect it as much as possible, or cover it with a plastic bag, whatever you've got, to try to protect your winch as best as possible. Once we got up in the mountains, we realized that if one of us got stuck, we were going to be in some serious issues. Okay, so obviously we all had some tow straps, thank goodness, with us. So we were able to either turn around and hitch up to someone and pull them back with a tow strap, or if you find yourself in a situation where you have a tow strap, let's say it's not long enough to get to whoever's stuck in front of you. We know that you don't want to pull backwards in most of, especially the Polarises, because they're notorious for having weak reverse chains that will snap, and they snap, you've got some big issues. So if you don't have a tow strap or a couple of them that you can link together, one of the things you can do is maybe go ahead and pull out your winch. Loosen it up here, obviously, first. Free it, pull your winch out, get you 40 foot, whatever length you got, throw it underneath your machine, pull it out to the back side, and then you can turn your machine around and then hitch to the rear of whoever's stuck in front of you and pull them out without worrying about breaking your reverse chain. If you want to leave your strap out, then we just put them up inside the cab of the Razor or whatever it is machine that you're riding, and that way you've already got your winch cable out. And like I said, if someone gets stuck in front of you, turn your machine around if you're in a Polaris and throw the winch cable back up underneath and hook to the rear of whoever's stuck, and you can just pull forward and hopefully pull them out. So between your 40-50 foot of winch line and a couple of tow straps, hopefully you're going to have enough to reach whoever's in front of you. First snag of the trip, it is rutted. Bobby's sitting high and dry, and all of our winches are frozen. So let's try to work this out. Ready? You ready, Bobby? Let me get out of the way. Keep coming. Keep coming. Something else that we all carry is a thick tree strap, basically a winch strap. So this will wrap around a tree and hook the shackle, and that way you're not running your winch line or your winch rope around a tree, and this gives you a little extra pulling length as well. Another issue that we ran into was the frozen over windshields. By the first day and definitely into the night, it would get so cold that if water splashed up on the windshield, it would freeze over before you could even get stopped to get it wiped off. Notice I get a Super ATV flip out windshield. I didn't have a windshield wiper on here, so I was running into those issues. So three of the best things you can have, and the good thing is these $5 spray pumps. We use them actually in the summertime in the dust more than anything. Your dollar squeegee, $1.25 now with inflation. And then also, instead of water, because obviously your water is going to freeze over, running the Rain-X all season. We go down to 0-degree temperature and put this in a pump sprayer, and that's what we use to clean the windshields. If the windshields got iced over before I could get out and scrape them off, one of the guys was smart enough to carry a mixture of rubbing alcohol and water, spray that on the windshields, and that was melting the ice off, and then we could finish squeegeeing the ice off. These pump sprayers are the best thing ever. They will get off all the mud and stuff if you got them pumped up good. Take your squeegee and there you go. Same thing in the winter time, except using anti-freeze window washer fluid. Another issue was the ice and snow buildup on the machine itself. We stopped about 2 hours into the ride and I could just feel the machine was a lot more sluggish. I probably had a good 2 to 3 inches of ice built up on all of the mud flaps there. The same back here, you guys will see in a couple of pictures. You could not even see the Nerf bars here because they were just solid ice loaded up, and it was the same thing in the back. So basically either carry a rubber mallet or do what I did and find a trusty broken branch club, and we just started hitting and tapping off the ice and knocking the ice off, trying to knock the ice off the suspension. And believe it or not, on the second stop, probably knocked off at least 200 to 300 pounds of snow and ice. The machine was riding like a brand new machine once I got all that knocked off. All right, this is a template I made out of poster board. It's not exact, it's not perfect, but it's enough to get me in the range. I'm going to lay this over top of some 12mm clear vinyl that I bought, and let's see if we can start the process of making some window doors for the XP1000. All right, a little hard to see in the video, but right now I've got the template laid over this 12mm plastic that I purchased from Hobby Lobby. So let's see if I can start tracing out a possible window here. Now what I've added since I've got back is just went to Harbor Freight, got some grommet machines, put some grommets. So the way this works, if I had this on, I would run tie wraps through the grommets around the front part of the roll bar, and then it stays attached up top and stays attached here. We rode over 200 miles using this system on both windows. And it worked flawlessly, worked real well. So instead of spending $600–700 for enclosure in extreme weather, I think I had a total of about $55 in everything that I used. So here's from the inside. As you can see, the heavy vinyl doesn't obstruct any view or anything, and it's still not really all that clean. I haven't cleaned it in a while. But you can still see out of it with no issues at all. So like I said, for less than 60 bucks, 2 side windows, and I actually made a piece for the rear window, it worked perfect. Look at that. Well, we broke 2,500 feet above sea level. It's in the 2530 right now. Looking 11 degrees. All right, another thing that we learned is when it's cold and below freezing, that your drain plugs are probably gonna freeze shut. A couple of times I had to get out a pair of channel locks and actually break the ice and twist them to get them out. So what did I do to fix that? Oops. Just started riding with the plugs out. And if I knew I was coming up to a mud puddle where water would shoot through, just simply put my left foot over the hole and block it, and I could still let water drain out and keep water from coming in. So that was just something else we learned about these here. Take out your floor plugs, and at least you'll be able to drain your floor and get some of the water out so you don't have too much ice on it. Another safety tip, we always run two-way radios just in case we get separated or we break down. If we need to call for assistance, we can run those. This one here is the TYT TH8600. It's waterproof, it's small, compact, and the fact that it's waterproof is why I like to run this in all of my machines. One of the other things I learned is make sure that at the end of the day, if you're planning on riding the next day, that you've turned your steering back and forth, whether you had to take a towel or whatever the case may be, and knock off the water and ice that's built up on your joints. Got up one morning and my front end was frozen solid, and actually had to put a heater underneath the machine for about 20 to 30 minutes in order to get the snow melted off, so I actually had steering. So it's important, just invest in a maybe 8x12 tarp to cover your machine at nighttime, and that is going to save a lot of issues as far as ice buildup and snow buildup in those situations. The old common sense stuff also is obviously to carry an extra belt if you've got a belt driven machine, in case you snap a belt. At worst, if you don't have a spare belt or you already went through one and you're on your last one, I also like to carry a can of belt conditioner with me. That way, if the belt starts slipping, you can doctor it up a little bit and maybe hobble your way home with a belt that's been treated with some belt conditioner. Okay, other than just the common sense stuff of extra dry gloves, extra clothing, a bag to put clothes in if you start getting warm and it starts getting cooled out, at least you can keep them dry, just in a normal plastic bag. What I also like to do is I like to carry these little fire start sticks, like 99 cents a piece, and keep them in your toolbox. That way if you break down and you're quite a ways away, you're on TWRA property or something, you're a few hours out, someone needs to run back and get parts. At worst, you have an easy way to maybe get a little campfire started to keep warm until you can get help out there.
Just like I hit the fucking ice.